Thank you, Vernon.
Yes, and a big thank you to you, Pastor Loka, because we sometimes don't know that there's good counselors out there, godly counselors, and the need for counsel. I know now you've also joined S.T.E.P. It's in the founding stages. If you can just share your bit in this organization.
I'm really honored and flattered that Lizanne considers me a founder member. I think I made a minuscule contribution. I've written a few letters and I've made a few comments. I think that's about the extent of it. But I do think that what I recognized in S.T.E.P. was what Lizanne had suffered and her acute awareness of two things. One is the unnecessary length of the suffering. Didn't have to be as long and as destructive as it was. And secondly, the real genuine desire to help someone else, to help others, to help other men and women. And I'm going to include men in this because I think there are many men that are suffering abuse as well. To help other men and women, and possibly even children, teenagers, who are going through destructive homes or marriages or friendships or partnerships. And that's what drew me to, as I said, making really a minor contribution to Lizanne's efforts. The book is well worth reading. It's almost a must if one is in that kind of situation. And it offers a volume of help and resources, so I thoroughly recommend it. I was thinking when I first read it that it's almost a manual on how to get out of this destructive cycle that one is often caught up in.
So, Pastor Loka, I actually misunderstood you because after I heard your guidance and counseling part, and especially your input for today's program, I thought maybe you part of the counseling team, which is going to be such a great help.
Oh, he is?
Well, I am. For my sins, I am. I think it was part of we worked it through almost. We kind of meshed it in that if Lizanne did find people that needed counseling, then I would be on site, so to speak. So that's very much the contribution that I would like to make to S.T.E.P.
We've got two counselors. We've got Pastor Vernon Loka, who may deal more with the men, if that was yes. the case. And then we've got Sandy Rogerson, who is our other founding member of S.T.E.P, and she is also a volunteer counselor who forms an integral part in S.T.E.P.
So before Lizanne takes us through everything we need to know about S.T.E.P, Pastor Loka, if I can still pose this question to you, the need for godly counseling. Like you mentioned, it was unnecessary suffering that Lizanne had to go through that period of time. It was extended, where else she could have maybe got help. She could have got godly counsel.
Venora, there are two languages today, and I'm going to be very general, but you'll understand exactly what I mean, and so will your listeners. There are two languages being spoken in society today regarding anxiety, depression, gender-based violence, and so much that's wrong in society. And the two languages are one, medication. Very often the first port of call is medication. And there are a number of drugs available today that will deal with psychological issues, depression, anxiety, and so on. So that is the one language, and I am being general, I know. The second language, generally speaking, is psychology. So the language of the day is, well, speak to a psychologist or speak to a psychiatrist. I don't debunk psychiatry or psychology at all. I've read volumes and volumes on psychology, and I believe that Jesus does offer psychology. If you read the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5 to 7, there's an enormous amount of psychology in the Beatitudes, how to treat people and how to be treated. So my feel for what Lizanne is doing is based around that one needs to go in search of a counselor that can blend, and I do mean this, blend sound psychology with theology, because we are psychological beings. If we have been traumatized, we respond in a particular fashion. If you've been through a war, a loud bang or a noise draws a response. So we are psychological beings. We are afraid of certain situations. One can't deny the psychology of being human. One can't ignore philosophy and so on. But you need to find a counselor that can bring together, and it's known as the convergence model, you can bring together sound psychology and sound theology. Very often, there is the glib approach to counseling. Well, read your Bible or just go home and read Ephesians or read chapter so-and-so of Mark's Gospel. That isn't help at all. One needs to probe and delve and understand the psychology of the person, the psychological makeup, their worldview, and then introduce what God expects of the individual and of the couple and of the friendship. So there needs to be a blending of those human sciences, if I can put it like that.
That's beautiful, Pastor Loka. Thank you so much. Lizanne, over to you then. Tell us more about S.T.E.P.
S.T.E.P came about after the book was written and when I realized that the book is not enough, because you can have things on paper and someone can read it, but that's not enough assistance. They need face-to-face, one-on-one people help. And I invited some people to join me, and they did. So there's 4 of us at the moment, but we are looking for more support. We are looking for volunteer counselors, volunteer lawyers. S.T.E.P stands for Support, Trust, Empowerment, and Progress. We wish to take safe steps beyond abuse, not only with the victims of abuse, but also with their support systems. The support systems could be family, friends, educators of the children from abusive homes. And we wish to help men, women, teenagers as well. We wish to prevent teenagers from getting into these destructive relationships and teach them what are healthy relationships.
And other assisted support groups, Lizanne?
There are many NPOs that are currently existing that can help. There's Lives with a Purpose, which is a trauma center, Open Door Crisis Center, which is also a trauma center, Jess Ford Foundation for rape crisis care, A Heart to Help, The Lighthouse, SADAG. There are many NPOs that can assist. Your local church will often have free counselors available as well.
And just to wrap up this time with you, Lizanne, it was such an impactful time just listening to your true story, your coming out of a destructive relationship and finding hope. Just the conclusion, you do write a little bit about that in chapter 21 of your book.
Yes, Venora, I'd love to read it to you. And if I can just say as well that looking back, when I reread the book, because I use it as a reference when I speak to people, I can truly see the hand of God in this book. I mean, I didn't know what to put in here, but I truly do believe that God has spoken through me within this book. So allow me to read the last chapter in the book. It has been an immense privilege to research the material for the support groups that I facilitated together with this book, as I have learnt a vast amount. My one regret is that this book was not available when I needed it most, back in 2018, when I realized that I was in grave danger within my marriage and when I had to make life-altering decisions. Had a book such as this one been available to me, I feel that I would have been better equipped and supported to be able to make the scary decisions that I was forced to make. The healing from the effects of my trauma would have been gentler. I would also have understood my own emotions better and would not have felt so utterly alone and fearful. My fear has been replaced by the joy that has found its home in my heart, as I have learned that joy is vastly different from happiness. Whereas happiness is but a momentary fleeting smile on the lips, but not necessarily in the eyes, joy comes from deep within. As Rick Warren defines it so beautifully, joy is the settled assurance that God is in control of all the details of my life, the quiet confidence that ultimately everything is going to be all right, and the determined choice to praise God in every situation. It is impossible to be happy all the time. However, I choose to be joyful most of the time. I have learned over the years following my exit from the destructive relationship that I am not defined by my past life experience and journey. I am defined by God's purpose for me. Yes, my life experiences have shaped and guided my purpose to a large extent, but my past is exactly that, my past. God's purpose for me is bigger than my past experiences and journeys. God is not done with me. He has a plan for me, a plan that will not harm me, a plan wherein I will prosper, a plan for my future. May my story and the advice within this book help you to realize that God is also not done with you. He has a plan for you, a plan that will not harm you, a plan wherein you will prosper, a plan for your future. I'd like to quote from Jeremiah 29 verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future.
And where do we get a hold of the book, Lizanne?
You can purchase a copy of Loved by Grace Toward a Graceful Purpose, either in the bookshop of Focus on the Family in Bothers Hill, or you can contact me directly on info@stepsafe.co.za.
And if someone wants to get in touch with the support group, STEP?
Welcome to use the same email address, info@stepsafe.co.za, and I'll direct the request to either our counselors or our legal aid.
That was Lizanne Hatting, author of the book Loved by Grace Toward a Graceful Purpose, together with a team member, Pastor Vernon Loka. Thank you so much for your time, and maybe a last thought you want to leave us with, both of you?
Vanora, I've recently started thinking that going forward, if I were to step in a relationship again, I would like it to be like a piece of music, whether it be instrumental or with voices, but there must be a melody and a harmony. I see that the male sets the melody, the main tune, because the man leads the wife into a godly relationship. He's the head of the home, and as such I see him as the melody, and I as the wife would be the harmony. I would be the support to my husband, because we would both be singing the same song with the same words, but in harmony with each other.
Pastor Loka?
I think Lizanne has put it very, very well. I've never heard that kind of description before, but I like it. I love music. Maybe you should write a song along those lines.
I have
we
already.
can put the music together. Thank you. It's been a real privilege being here, being with Lizanne, part of this broadcast. And the prayer is that we would do something positive in helping people get out of destructive and violent relationships. I know supermarkets and a lot of outlets have end gender-based violence. It's probably an advertising slug, but let's do something about it. Let's actually get out there and make a concrete step on reducing the amount of destruction and violence and hurt that is such a part of South African society today.
Yes, I will agree with that, Pastor Loka. I think that's what you and Lizanne have done today and these weeks past. Just that, just to make that impact, make it real. It's a real world, and we're going through real issues, and just the advice and the inspiration even through the book. Thank you so much. It was a blessing.